Okay, welcome to our regular October 16th meeting. We call the board to order.
Mr. Ferguson?
Here.
Mr. Keller?
Here.
Ms. Savage?
Here.
Mr. Smith?
Here.
Mr. Cat?
Here. And if you join me in a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now I need a motion to adopt the agenda.
So moved.
I'll second.
Been properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll take a vote.
Ms. Savage?
Yes.
Mr. Keller?
Yes.
Mr. Ferguson?
Yes.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Cat?
Yes. And now we're on to recognition. So, Dr. Howard.
All right, well, thank you, President Keck. This is a great opportunity to recognize two individuals that have proven to be friends of public education. Board, as you know, the Ohio School Board Association allows nominations to be submitted, and we're very proud to share with our community that we had two individuals that have recently been honored. The first is a Friend of Public Education honor that went to Mr. Joe Case. And we also had the OSBA Central Region Exemplary Employee honor going to Mr. Jonathan Langhouse. And if I may, I'd like to read the nomination. First is with Mr. Joe Case, has served our state and community at large as a state house reporter and serving separate stints as the Director of Public Affairs for the Ohio Attorney General's Office and the Ohio Auditor of State. In 2005, he became the Associate Vice President, Corporate Marketing Public Relations for Nationwide Insurance, where he retired in 2025. Not letting the grass grow under his feet in retirement, he quickly established Marysville Matters, where he reports on events and happenings that impact the daily lives of Marysville, Ohio residents. Our community is fortunate that he calls Marysville home. Joe is thoughtful and fair and truly seeks to understand issues that are relevant to the community, including those that impact the Marysville schools. He provides perspectives from all sides and carries a glass half full perspective in his work. Joe has been a great community partner, not only to the Marysville Exempted Village School District, but also to our community stakeholders. For this reason, we have nominated Joe Case to be awarded the OSBA Friend of Public Education on behalf of Marysville Exempted Village School District. In addition, I'd like to share about Mr. Langhouse. Jonathan has served in the Marysville Exempted Village School District since 2013. He quickly proved himself to be a champion for both students and staff when he began in our district as an elementary principal at Edgewood Elementary. Recognizing his ability to inspire and lead those around him, he was promoted to assistant superintendent for the 2014-2015 school year. During his time as the assistant superintendent, he helped lead in many areas, including working with the Board of Education to establish a vision and culture of continuous improvement that puts students first by personalizing education and meeting our students where they are in order to prepare them for a lifetime of success. Jonathan held the role of interim superintendent for Marysville over the summer during a transition in leadership, and this included assisting many departments that were transitioning new leaders, including human resources, and ensuring our staffing needs were being met leading up to a new school year. His expertise and demeanor has served our district admirably, and he continues to serve our students and staff today by accepting a principal position at Northwood Elementary for this school year. Jonathan continues to put students first while caring for our staff, and he never hesitates to take on new roles and responsibilities where they are needed most. When culture and climate matter more than ever, Jonathan has always proven to be a positive role model to those he serves. He is a tremendous asset to our school district and public education in general. We're lucky he lends his professionalism and service to others in our Marysville school community. For this reason and many others, we have nominated him to be awarded our OSBA Exemplary School Employee Award winner. Thank you, Jonathan. Yeah, we can go ahead and do that too.
Sharon's not here.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and read this while you guys are making your way up. Board, we also have the honor of recognizing our classified employee of the month. And our proclamation reads, whereas Sharon Sitters is an employee of the Marysville Exempted Village School District, working as a budgetary coordinator in the fiscal department, and whereas Sharon has served the school district with much enthusiasm, dedication, and commitment in an effort to provide for the needs of the district, and whereas Sharon has been nominated by our colleagues as Classified Employee of the Month, citing in their nominations that I believe Sharon should be recognized as Employee of the Month because of her hard work and dedication she shows every time I call or email. Sharon promptly and kindly answers all of my most strange questions with a smile. Sharon goes above and beyond to correct my mistakes, as well as approves my requisitions in a timely manner. Sharon is a blessing and makes my job easier. Thank you. The Marysville Exempted Village Board of Education recognizes the dedication and commitment of Sharon and does this with this recognition name Sharon Sitters Classified Employee of the Month in the Marysville Exempted Village School District for October 2025. Congratulations to you, Sharon, and we'll gladly provide this to her tomorrow morning. Next, Board, we'd like to invite our two high school principals up for the recognition of some outstanding students we have in our schools.
Good evening. Mr. Chafin and I have the honor this evening of presenting three different awards. Each of these awards are branches off of the National Merit Scholarship Recognition. We're going to give a quick, brief description of what those awards are, and then we'll start to introduce our students. So the first one that we have is the School Recognition Award. The National Merit School Recognition Award is a recognition from the College Board's National Recognition Program that celebrates high-achieving students from all backgrounds. To qualify, students must have a cumulative GPA of a B+ or higher and score in the top 10% of their high school's PSAT test takers, or in at least a 3 or better on at least 2 AP exams by their 10th grade year.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the second award is called the First Generation Recognition, and essentially this award recognizes high-achieving students who are the first in their families to attend college based on academic performance in high school, such as strong scores on the PSAT, NMSQT, or AP exams, and a minimum GPA.
And then the final one that we're going to recognize this evening is the rural and small town recognition. To be eligible, students must be a sophomore or junior with a minimum GPA of a 3.3 and either score in the top 10% of their town's rural and small town test takers on the PSAT or earn a 3 or higher on multiple AP exams. So without further ado, we're going to announce these student names. Students, as you are called, we'd ask you to all please come up to the front. We're going to call all names and then recognize everyone together. So first off, I have Evan Fetzer for the National Merit Commended Scholar Student, Dakota McKee, National Merit Commended Scholar Student, Jacob Bennett for both the Rural and Small Town Recognition Award and the School Recognition Award, Megan Bowen for the Rural and Small Town Recognition Award and also the School Recognition Award, Rylan Brown for the Rural and Small Town Recognition Award as well as the School Recognition Award, Arcadian Crane for the Rural and Small Town Recognition Award and the School Recognition Award, Reagan Duke for the Rural and Small Town Recognition as well as the School Recognition Award, Evan Fetzer for the Rural and Small Town Recognition as well as the School Recognition Award, Leah Gross for the Rural and Small Town Recognition as well as the School Recognition Award, Lauren Hensinger for the School Recognition Award, Andrew Litke for the First Generation Recognition Award as well as the School Recognition Award, Dakota McKee, again, for the Rural and Small Town Recognition Award as well as the School Recognition Award, Margot Osting for the School Recognition Award, Danny Rajesh for the Rural and Small Town Recognition Award as well as the School Recognition Award, Vincent Ruane for the School Recognition Award, Eric Shaw for the School Recognition Award, and Gavin Betts for the First Generation Recognition Award.
Okay. Now we'll call down Sam Kruger for the Rural and Small Town Recognition Award and School Recognition Award, Elena Fernandez Busto for the Rural and Small Town Recognition Award and the School Recognition Award. We have Delilah Marbaugh for the Rural and Small Town Recognition Award and also the School Recognition Award. We have Oscar Olding for the School Recognition Award. We have Johanna Olafson for Rural and Small Town Recognition Award and also the School Recognition Award, and Harrison Wygant for the School Recognition Award and the Rural and Small Town Recognition Award. Congrats to all of you. Thank you.
Is there any public participation? None. Okay. And we're on to the superintendent's report. Dr. Howard.
Thank you, Board. One of the things that I thought I'd start off with this evening is an update on busing. And a few things I'd like to highlight this evening is preschool transportation, alternate address practices with the transportation team, the legal standing, the culture and climate with the transportation team, and then announced that last week was the bus ridership count, and I do not have those numbers yet, but that's an important week for every school district. Starting off, we listen to feedback, hear some concerns, and admittedly, we heard some regarding the transportation at the preschool or mini Monarch Academy, and I thought I would share what some of those were. There was concern with long car lines, instructional time concerns, and then prior years' peers being transported by the company that provides transportation there. That's VAT. And so the board, just as a reminder, in the preschool, we have students that attend that are on an individualized education plan, but then we also have model peer students as well. In our current practice is that as a district, we only transport students that have an IEP. And I'll share with the community that has been our past practice even when we had a unit here within our district in one of our elementaries. Now that our entire preschool is out there at the Many Monarch Academy, we're continuing with our Marysville Exempted Village School District practice of transporting only those students that are on an IEP. And that is the case K-12. So we also had concerns with, as I mentioned, long car lines at parent drop-off. I can attest that those lines have improved. It's gotten more efficient, and I can confirm that there's no lost instruction that takes place due to those times. The times for parent drop-off are built into the school day. With regard to peer transportation considerations, there was a request or recommendation that we would transport the peers and IEP students if they were from the same family. The challenge there is if we do that, there is an additional cost to the district, and I think it's important that we share this often, in that, you know, we did not anticipate having to take on preschool cost. And when we had to take that on, that ended up being about $3 million a year. And the transportation cost associated with that adds to that amount as well. And so from a consistency standpoint, we didn't think it was fair to offer transportation for a sibling that is not on an IEP when we don't do it K through 12 if they don't qualify for education. Okay, so that decision was made to keep things consistent. It's also, you know, sort of a matter of equity and fairness across all students, K-12. Another concern that has been brought to our attention is the idea about discontinuing multi-address routing. So an example here would be you have a parent that is the residential parent for school purposes. They live with their other parent maybe 2 or 3 days out of the week otherwise. One of the things in talking with the transportation department, that has become a real challenge for a couple of different reasons. One is those parenting schedules often alternate. Maybe it's 2 days with one parent 1 week, 3 with another. And it's really a challenge for the drivers to anticipate or recall whether I'm stopping at this house on this day when last week it was maybe Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but then this week it's Tuesday, Thursday. So admittedly, we had a few cases last year where students were missed and we had to go back and pick them up, or we had a case where some of the little ones were not dropped off at the right address because we were under the impression that they're staying with the other parent. So we have done away with that. The other challenge to that is you have to anticipate that the buses are going to be full with every rider that opts in. And so when you have alternate addresses, you have a student occupying two seats, right? One on two separate buses. And so from an efficiency standpoint, that's an important factor as well. All this to say, too, there's a shortage of drivers everywhere, and we're not immune from that as well. And so where we would always love to under-promise and over-deliver, and this is one where we would love to do that as a district. It's a real challenge based on the shortage of drivers that we have currently, and we're working on that. There is also a legal standing. State law and policy does not require multi-addresses to be transported to. Court orders do not override district policy, and that we're not alone in having a policy such as this. Some of the largest nearby districts have a similar policy. The Old Tangi does, I know. Columbus Public does as well. They just recently eliminated high school busing. And that is a matter of compliance, safety, and reliability. And then the last, I just wanted to share, we have an awesome transportation team. Certainly enjoy that group out there. They work incredibly hard, work well together, and we're always looking to add additional drivers. And I'm happy to share that there's been great support from the buildings. We've had principals ride buses. We've had principals stop by the bus garage, and it's just helped create more synergy between departments, more support across the board, and so that's been great to see. As I mentioned, last week was state ridership count. One of the reasons why we did the national walk to school this year, this past week, as opposed to last week, because we didn't want to interfere with that. You get funding for the number of students that are on the bus, so that was important. But our transportation team is the face of our district each morning and afternoon. It's the first face our students see often. It's the last face. They're important people to us, and we appreciate them. I also wanted to briefly share that I met with the senior HR administrator, Christine Ernst, as well as Stefan Haus, who's the head of the Nestle Development Center, on Friday. Learned a great deal during my visit with them. They've been partnering with our district for many years. Coming up on October 23rd, Nestle will be joining other manufacturers. They were leaders in our county to be on site at the Marysville High School during an event called Crafted in Union County. But we're grateful for companies such as Nestle that continue to pour into our district and make a difference in the education of our kids. And I also wanted to shout out Liberty Township. So our Raymond Elementary principal, Mrs. Parthmore, reached out to Liberty Township trustees to thank them for the use of their porta-john during a recent power outage. They responded by sharing that they recently installed a generator that will come on automatically if there is power out, and they will unlock the buildings if needed in the future to allow indoor restroom access. This is just another layer to our safety and security plan, but more than anything, thank you to the Liberty Township that partners with the Raymond Elementary so close by. It's much appreciated and such a kind gesture. And during that power outage too, Sheriff Justice was also instrumental in getting a deputy on site during the day to enhance the security during that time. We're grateful to him, his team, and we're really looking forward to Deputy Tyler Reeser being assigned as the very first SRO in the school's history. So we welcome Deputy Reeser to Raymond Elementary. And then, board, we can get into this later if you'd like as well, but upcoming on the agenda, I just wanted to tout that there are 2 board policies that we're asking you to approve as a first read based on timelines required due to legislative changes. Those are truancy and student absences and excuses, and then we have 23 other policies to be read as a first reading. And when we get to that section, if need be, I'm happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
And now we're up to the treasurer's report. Mr. Johnson.
Okay. Excuse me. For my report, I'm going to be discussing, let's see here. There we go. Discussing our upcoming facilities project, and just looking at some of the timing and some of the basics here. It's been, since I've been here and since you guys have been on the board, we've not really talked in depth about bond issues, so I thought I would just go over some just real basic ideas here, and if these are you know, too basic, just bear with me, but just in case there's some people that might not know some of the basics. So first off, what is a bond issue? So a bond issue is a tax levy, similar to how you pass any other tax levy. The difference is that a bond issue the proceeds can only be used to pay off debt related to permanent improvements. Permanent improvements we're talking about is new school building and improvements to existing school buildings. So a bond issue cannot be used for operating expenses, cannot be used for any payroll expenses, those kinds of things. Oftentimes, when using a bond issue to build a new building, schools would also require an operating levy. Depends on the reason that you're building that building. If you're building that building to replace an old building, maybe you wouldn't need a bond issue, an operating levy, because you're just going to take the staff from that old building and put it in the new building. Obviously, we're looking to build a new building to add space because of enrollment growth. So there are going to be additional operating expenses that would come with that. So after a bond levy is approved by the voters, the district then would sell the bonds in the amount approved. So if that were a $100 million or a $150 million bond issue. So the approved bond allows the collection of taxes. That's what gives us the collateral to be able to sell those bonds. So when you sell the bonds, that's how you get the money in hand. So if we were to pass a $150 million bond issue, when those bonds are sold, we're then going to have $150 million that can then be used over the next 2 to 3 years as we plan and build and construct to pay for all of that work that would be done. So then when those bonds are now collecting taxes annually, the millage that has been approved in the bond issue, that's going to collect taxes annually that is used to make those debt payments. Okay, so that's kind of how the bond issue works. Typically, a bond issue is for a time period, 30 years, give or take. I think the maximum by law is around, I believe, is 40 years, but usually you're going to see it for around 30. One thing about bonds, the bond millage tends to go down over time. A couple different reasons. As property values go up, values typically have definitely been going up in our area because of, one, new construction, new homes, new businesses, as well as inflation. So when the county auditor does the reappraisal or the triennial update, property values have gone up. So when our assessed values go up, less mills are needed to multiply by the evaluation. So then that tends to bring the millage down. But then also on the expenditure side, similar to how you can refinance the mortgage on your house, we can do bond refundings when there's opportunities for that. That would bring down our debt payments, which again would mean less mills are needed to make those debt payments. So for example, in 2018, the bond millage for Marysville schools was 9.41. Fast forward to now, 7 years later, it's almost cut in half down to 5.3 mils. So how did we define the need? Why are we even talking about this? So as you remember, there was approximately a year-long process. We had a community task force as well as HPM consulting. We had an updated enrollment projection, and we looked at our building capacity as well as the conditions of our buildings and where the greatest needs were. I'm not going to go in great detail here, but this is a snapshot of the recommendation that was accepted by the board over the summer. Some of the big changes there, one of the big changes was changing the grade configuration. As you remember, we're starting to see a bottleneck in those 5th through 8th grades where we're starting to have some congestion and not a lot of extra space in Creekview or Bunseled for those that growing enrollment. So changing the configuration to K through 5 buildings and then 6 through 8. In doing so, we would need to build an additional middle school, but that also at the same time frees up Creekview to basically become an elementary, which would also house our new preschool, which we had to take on this year. Right now, that's over 220 students that would go into the Creekview wing, which we would have to do some work there to make it ready to accept preschool students. Edgewood Elementary, by the time we would be replacing that with this project, would be about 75 years old. So that was the recommendation of the group, was to replace Edgewood. And then there also would be some work done at Raymond Elementary and a smaller work done at some of the other elementaries as well. And I would point out that these are only estimates, okay? So, this was the recommendation, but there's going to be a lot of talk. This project would be several years away, so a lot of talk, refining the numbers, getting more accurate numbers and estimates, and eventually we would go to bid to make sure we got the best possible price. So how are we going to pay for this? The goal would be to pay for the project without increasing taxes. And we've been talking about this for quite some time. Our current bonds would be paid off in December of 2029. Currently, we have 5.3 bond mills that are being collected to pay off our existing debt. So, excuse me. So when that's paid off, our bond levy that we would be asking the voters is allow us to continue collecting that same 5.3 mills so that we can use that money to now pay off our new buildings and this facilities project. So we would do that without increasing taxes. Several variables will impact how much money we would be able to raise if it's at 5.3 mils. So interest rates at the time, if the interest rates go down, then we're able to sell more bonds. That allows us to raise a higher dollar amount. Millage, so we're currently at 5.3 mils. That's no guarantee that several years from now, when we try to pass the bond issue, that we would still be at 5.3. So that could change. And then also our assessed valuation. We're only making a projection of what our valuation would be at that time. That could vary significantly as well, which would impact the revenue. And then as well, as I mentioned, on the expense side, there's variables there as well. We're able to make decisions if we have to reduce the amount of the ask by trimming things off of the project and prioritizing and those kinds of things. I definitely highlight this as an estimated potential timeline. So these things are not set in stone, but just to give you an idea. Our next step would be to engage what they call a pre-construction architect. So that architect would come in and get more defined drawings and just kind of planning for the project. We would likely do that in 2026. That would be funded by the Permanent Improvement Fund, and we would actually be able to reimburse the Permanent Improvement Fund from the bond fund if the bond issue would pass. We would potentially be looking at the bond levy. Our first option would be November of 2027. We wouldn't want to go probably any earlier than that. If approved in 27, then we would start the design process in 2028, which would then lead to construction in 2029, 2030, probably a 2 to 3 year construction period. So that would then put us an opening and occupying a building in 2031, 2032, around that area. That's all for me, if there's any questions.
Thank you. Could you go back to that slide where you were demonstrating how the taxes went down?
Yeah, there we go.
So we would really only have to go for 5.3. We wouldn't be renewing a 9.4 or,
Correct.
Okay.
So, yeah, so I mean, if we said we want 9.4, then that would end up being a tax increase. So but if we
Right.
went for that 5.3, you would
No
pay
tax
the
increase.
same that you paid the prior year.
thank you.
A couple of things, just to make sure that I understand and maybe clarify for somebody that's listening. A bond issue goes for a fixed amount of money, is that correct?
Correct.
And so over time, the amount is not going to increase. There's not an inflationary factor.
There will be a set, basically amortization schedule, just like when you get your, you get your mortgage, you've got a set amount of debt payments. So we will have a set amortization schedule. And then again, the only time that really would change is when we do refundings. Again, we've been fortunate, and over a 30-year period, it's very likely that those would come up again, where we're able to actually reduce those debt payments.
Okay. And one of the reasons that we're talking about this now is that it's going to take 7 years for us to accomplish any of the buildings because of the architectural designs, the bidding process, the construction, and all of those kinds of things. So we're going to have, between now and 7 years out or 8 years out, we're going to have growth in terms of our student population, and it is that growth that we're looking at. Because I know some people have said, well, our buildings now are in good shape. We really don't need to do a whole lot, and we seem to have, sufficient space and so forth. But if it takes 7 to 8 years, you can't wait until you don't have any room and then try to do that. And the other thing is that when a bond issue is passed, you collect all of the money when the bonds are sold. And what happens to that money between the time you collect it and the time that it is dispersed for the construction and planning costs?
So it would be held by the district. We actually are able to earn a little bit of interest. It's called arbitrage. So we'd be able to earn a little bit of interest on that money, which would then go towards the construction project as well. And we have fund accounting, so it would have its own separate fund and be tracked separately.
Mm-hmm. So essentially, that has to go toward permanent improvement. It would not be able to be used for any other purpose.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President. Can you discuss maybe the bond selling process and like what's our current bond rating now and what are the factors in selling and issuing bonds?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I'm an expert to get into that, but we actually have a bond rating meeting tomorrow. So we actually are, I don't remember our rating off the top of my head, but we are trying to go for an upgrade. We have a consultant that helps with all things bond related, and they feel that we're in a good position to potentially get an upgrade. The better your rating, the more attractive your bonds, which then means you're able to sell your bonds for a little higher price. So it's a benefit to us if we can have a good bond rating. Some things that help your bond rating, clean audits, a good, strong financials, which currently we have a strong 5-year forecast, a vibrant community, a good strong economy in the community. So we have a lot of factors going for us that could potentially help our bond rating. You're also able to get, if we weren't able to get the upgrade, we also are able to get kind of a boosted bond rating, being kind of like almost how we buy things through a consortium. You can jump in with the state and have a boosted credit rating from the state. So we also have that option in our back pocket as well. So once the bond issue is passed, and we have the authority to sell the bonds, then that's where the bond broker comes into play. They would then go out on the market. They've got typically it's going to be big commercial buyers. They would then buy our bonds. Just kind of similar. I've been part of the process before. It kind of almost looks like the stock market. And that's what generates our funding. And if that's what you were looking for.
Yes,
okay.
it was. Thank you. My second question is, I know we adopted or accepted the master facilities plan. When, if this board or a future board would like to make modifications to that plan, what's our timeline? What is the timeline to kind of complete that task?
So
is that even
like
possible?
that $150 million slide, is that what you're referring
Yes,
to?
on
Yeah.
the menu of options.
I think as we get the pre-construction architect, I think we'll be bringing stuff to the board, and we may be coming and saying, well, here was the original plan for $150 million. This piece of that may be more expensive. This piece of that may be less expensive, and those kinds of things. So I think timeline is you would want to have a firm plan, but by the time you went on the ballot. But I think we will have at least a year and a half, 2 years to tighten all those things up. And like I said, we'll be bringing you details from the architect before we would, look to finalize a plan.
My last question, if I may, is if there's a developer or different type of development in our community where we may have to deviate from this plan, do we have that flexibility to say if a developer offers a parcel for a site, or if we need to make that ask, do we have that flexibility? Or
Absolutely, we could. We've got when we accepted that plan, we basically said, okay, here's our roadmap, but we didn't say that's set in stone. We can if we come up with a better idea, we can certainly do that.
All right, thank you.
I had a question. You showed the bond mills in 2018, Todd, but when was that bond passed? Do you know that?
Most of those bonds, there's multiple different bond issues included in there, but most of those bond issues were passed probably around 30 years ago. Again,
Okay.
there's a little bit of because Bunsold was built as at a different time than Mill Valley, but 30 years give or take.
And then, do the bonds ever expire? I know you talked about our debt payoff, but when we get to that point, 2029, do the bonds expire?
Yes.
Okay.
Two things. It seems as if we refinance bonds periodically. And over the years, has that been beneficial to the community?
Yeah, I mean, every time we've refinanced a bond, and I guess I should have looked back. I know we've done it probably 3 times since I've been here for close to 12 years. I think we've done it 3 times. Every time we've done it, it's been a 7-figure savings. We've saved over $1 million, and we're in the middle of a bond refunding right now that would be probably completed the end of November, early December, I think. And right now we're expecting to save around $1.2, $1.3 million, and again, that's a direct savings to our taxpayers.
Yeah, and that doesn't reduce the taxes because we're paying the bonds off for the investors that have purchased those, but it shortens the timeline of the bonds. Is that where the savings occurs?
The savings occurs basically by that millage being dropped. Okay, so you really don't save anything this year because the taxes have been collected.
Right.
But what that means is that and there's 2 different ways you could look at it. It might be that because we were able to reduce that, we don't need to collect as much. We don't need to collect as much money the following year, so that millage might be reduced, which again is a reduction in your taxes. Okay. With this, the refunding that we're looking to do this time, that's not really the way it's working. It's more paying some things off early and kind of shifting some things around. So in essence, a lot of these bonds will be paid off sooner, which means towards the end, there's going to be less money needed.
Now, you've also, as you've talked about this, we're talking about a property tax, and somebody might ask, is there an alternative to that?
There is some allowability with an income tax. It's not quite the same thing. You know, you can build a building based off of an income tax. I would say that. I've not been I don't have any experience with that, but I think you would basically pass that income tax and then you would issue notes based on the property tax, kind of like how we did tax anticipation notes out of the PI fund.
Yeah, okay, but it would not involve, that sounds like it would involve something different than bonds.
Yes.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Sorry, one follow-up. I do have a follow-up. So what's the role of interest? This is a kind of a silly question, but $150 million doesn't necessarily go into brick and mortar because there's interest that we have to pay back. What's that percentage roughly? Or like, I guess that's my question is like, what's the pie, what's that kind of budget for interest depending on I know it depends on the bond rating, but.
Well, and it's not going to be, that's where there's a lot of differences. There's some similarities compared to your mortgage, you know, because you have a mortgage, it's 6%. Bonds are not the same way, and this is where I could have our bond consultant come in, and if you guys want to get in the weeds, he would be the one to help with that. So when you're selling 30 years of bonds, the interest rate on years 1 and 2 are going to be very different than the rates on years 28 and 29. So it's going to vary throughout the 30 years, and that's what they do. That's their specialty in structuring those bonds so that our payback is, you know, you want it to be a consistent payback each year. You don't want to have one year that $10 million is due, the next year that drops to 5 and then goes back up. You know, we want it to be consistent for our taxpayers.
But it's still within the $150 million pie, it's not added.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
So if somebody in this town decides they want to buy Marysville bonds, they would be able to go to a broker and say, I want to buy Marysville bonds. I want a 25-year bond, and I'll give you X numbers of dollars, and I will expect X plus 25 years from now.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Board President's report. We had a couple things here, and they're related. We had the FFA had a annual picnic with the pros. It's a networking event. The local experts in the field of agriculture science come and eat lunch with the students. And the students ask these different individuals how to get involved in that field. And it's quite an event. I happened to attend it and was very impressed. There were 5 students sitting around me, and the most impressive part was they all knew exactly what they were going to do when they got out of high school. And that was from freshmen through juniors. And I don't think I've ever seen that before. So I even accused the teacher of setting me up, and she said they did not do that. So it's good to see young people that have a career path. Members of the state FFA officer team were there and spoke. Keynote speaker was Paris Anderson. She's a very inspirational speaker and past state officer, and went to Big Walnut High School, and she talked about how the students should get involved, and it's never too late to plug into an organization such as the FFA. Later in her high school career, that's what she did, I guess, and it ended up being a life-changing event for her. She is currently a student at The Ohio State University, majoring in agricultural science, following her graduation from Big Walnut last year. Then coming up this week, and I'm not sure of the date on this, but is a Chamber of Commerce Business.
23rd.
What's that?
I think it's Thursday, the 23rd.
Okay, Thursday. So you guys might want to look into this. Business Impact, crafted in the Union County events. That's what they're calling it. Coming up next week, Marysville High School will host this site. Chamber of Commerce Business Impact meeting, as well as crafted in the Union County. This all-day event will focus on celebrating Manufacturing Month in Union County. As part of the Business Impact meeting, J.P. Nosif, President and CEO of Jobs Ohio, who is leading Ohio's economic development efforts, will provide updates on manufacturing and Jobs Ohio. Following his keynote address, there will be a panel discussion by local leaders focusing on talent recruitment that will be geared towards employers. Our Monarch students, as well as many others from Union County school districts, will participate in the Crafted in Union County. This allows local manufacturers to meet with the students, promoting career paths. We thank Columbus State and its Manufacturing Extension Partnership, who are partnering with us to make this event possible. So there's two events helping students get ahead, you might say, into a career. And if you're interested, please attend, I would say, at this point in time. And that's all I have. So we're now on to student achievement report. Mr. Keller.
Yep. Couple of student achievement from the principal notes. Both our high schools experienced some math growth in comparison from year to year, and then with their unit mastery standards data, they're seeing an upward trend, which is great news. And the OSBA Success Newsletter, probably the thing to point out there, for the OSBA conference in November, they're looking to celebrate Ohio students. They're still looking for student initiatives and/or some digital art nominations. I included the link in the document I have if someone wants to nominate somebody or a group for that.
Cool. And our legislative report, Ms. Savage.
Hello. The Ohio legislature returned to Columbus and has continued working on several property tax bills. Both chambers have 6 sessions planned in October and November, and 1 potential session in December. Property tax bills are due in early 2026. The legislature is pushing to move legislation before and end of October to potentially impact the 2026 tax collection. There is substantial number of bills and discussions being tossed around the State House regarding changes to property taxes. So the Senate did go ahead and vote to override item number 66, which is the provision in the state budget which eliminates the replacement property tax levies as well as fixed sum emergency levies and substitute emergency levies. So that was one of a group of types of levies that school districts could use as they were looking to increase their funding moving into the future. So that has been approved and goes into effect on December 30th of this year. Governor DeWine also put in place property tax work group, and that work group presented its report in last week. I'm not going to read all the points. There's 20 major points that they made regarding property tax recommendations. Many of them are supporting activities that are in the form of legislations passing through committees now. One of my big concern points, and this is an editorial point, is that in some cases they're looking to make changes to property tax retroactive, which would be very, very devastating to school districts. It would be like going ahead and changing your budget from 2 years ago and reducing your money. So public needs to be aware of how detrimental some of these potential legislation issues could be. Just some legislation to look at, HB 129 is kind of underway. HB 309 is well underway. Many of these legislation, I'm not going to read it all because it's pretty extensive, but they're looking at tying up ways for school districts to receive funding and to apply relief to property owners. So, thank you.
Any questions? Okay. I need a motion to approve the draft minutes from the last meeting.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we approve the draft minutes from the last meeting. Any questions? Seeing none, we'll take a vote.
Yes?
Yes.
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 Yes. Next up is we're going to need a motion to fund a new bandstand by Manti Machine, LLC.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we approve this fabrication and installation of a bandstand. Any questions?
Do we have a time frame for when this will be completed? And do we have a budget? I'm assuming this is coming out of permanent improvement money?
Yeah, it would come out of permanent improvement funds. If this is approved, it would be in place. They could do some of the work. Currently, it needs to be fabricated, but some of the groundwork in order to install it on pond could potentially start this fall. But the plan would be to have it in place prior to the next summer when the band comes back together and prepares for a new season.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Well, since nobody will discuss, I'll discuss it a little bit. Right now, we're currently using a scaffolding which has been there for at least 10 years, and it's not supposed to be a permanent type installation. So there's a safety issue with that, and I think they've gotten their money's worth out of that one. They'll probably get their money's worth out of the next one. The other thing that I would say is it's being built by a local company, and the two owners of which are former students of mine. So I very proud of that fact that they could be involved in this project. So if there's no other discussion, we'll proceed to vote.
Yes?
Yes.
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 Yes. And now we're on to our contract with MMA, facility contract. Motion to approve is what we're looking for. MMA Mini Monarch
So moved.
Academy. It's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Properly moved and seconded. Any discussion on this contract?
Yeah, I appreciate the county willingness to lease us the space. We had to take on this in kind of an unexpected fashion, and the county is and the transportation company, everybody stepped up and is allowing us to be able to continue the program and do the right thing by the kids, so.
Yeah, and I would just note that, I mean, this does coincide a little bit with our facilities project. As you remember, part of that is Creekview, and that being upgraded so that it's able to accept preschool students, because there is a large cost involved later on in this contract. So, we do have it basically free use of the building for the first several years, but that's not forever. So, at some point, that's where this facilities project comes into play.
Can you sorry.
Go ahead.
Can you review the terms of the contract? Year one cost, year two cost?
I have that in front of me. Yeah, so initially, there'll be a rent of $1 for year one. The leasee shall pay the lessor as annual rent for the offices during the term July 1 through 28 through 30, 2029, $100,000 for the year. And then when you get into 2029 through June 30 of 2030, that becomes $200,000.
There's a way out of this contract, I assume, on year 3?
Yes, I believe so, but the challenge would be creating the space. That's one of the reasons why it's really important with the facilities plan.
I have a question. Have we inspected this building? I know part of this contract, we could incur cost for maintaining the facilities. Have we done an HVAC evaluation, some of the just the structural, just to see what the condition of the building is before we enter this agreement?
So as part of the terms of the agreement, they will maintain the building and the upkeep, so they'll bear that cost. Any changes or modifications that would be specific to our use would be our cost.
Thank you. Sorry, I had read those words backwards.
Okay, ready for a vote?
Yes.
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 Yes?
Yes. And now, let's see here. We need a Mini Monarch VAT approval for bus contract.
So moved.
Second?
Been properly moved and seconded. Any discussion on this?
So once again, can we review the terms of the contract?
Yes, so this is basically just a service agreement that we would contract with VAT. They have offered the transportation for Harold Lewis School prior to us taking it over. With the shortage of bus drivers, it's imperative that they continue to do that because we simply have the bus shortage. As far as the amount, correct me if I'm wrong, Tom, but I think that would be billed based on the number of riders. So essentially, it's an agreement put in place that they will be providing the transportation and then bill us accordingly.
How many years? Or is it per year, or?
So this is for this school year with the ability to sever beyond this school year.
Okay.
And Nan, just to your question, it is going to be a variable depending on number of riders and locations and all that kind of thing, but you're probably talking in the range of 500,000, give or take.
That's what I was getting at. So I want understanding that not only are we taking on $3 million of expenses with Mini Monarch Academy, there's a bus contract worth $500,000 that goes with it.
Oh, go ahead.
What is the relationship with drivers, and if there's any disciplinary issues with bus drivers or concerns, what's our responsibility and what's theirs, and how are those issues addressed?
We would have the opportunity to work with them through that. It's ultimately, the drivers are their drivers, their employees, but I think the contract speaks to the ability to work through issues that would come to pass. They have to comply to the same laws, background checks, CDL license as our drivers do as well.
Do they provide a list of like their the drivers' names or anything to the district, or is it kind of kept in their house?
I think they do. Certainly, our parents and the students know who the drivers are. They would do that. But I don't know that we have that list
I
currently.
believe we get a list through my office as well for payroll, even though they're not through our payroll, but there are payroll purposes why we do get a list. So yeah, we have that as well.
All right, thank you.
All right, seeing no further questions, let's take a vote.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And we're now on, we need a recommendation to approve a salary schedule provision, longevity payment memorandum of understanding.
So moved?
Is there a second?
Second?
Is there any discussion on this, hopefully?
I'll speak to this one since it was my screw up. It basically, during negotiations, we were talking about, how to address certain drivers that are at a certain spot on the salary schedule where they're not going to be getting an increase or as much of an increase. So we came up with this stipend, this bonus, and in our thinking, we were looking at, well, where's everybody at on the salary schedule at that time, which was fiscal 25. Now we're in fiscal 26. And in essence, our intent was everything was based off of last year, but the way it was written, our payroll person correctly adopted it and implemented it, I should say, but it was based off fiscal 26. So what that meant was around 20-some people that were not intended to get the bonus got the bonus, and then around 20-some people that should have got the bonus didn't. So I sent a I'm very sorry email to each of those people. For the most part, I think everybody got it and understood. So this is to fix that mistake. So not really a financial change because it's pretty much an offset, but it's just making sure the right people get the bonus.
Any questions? Seeing none, let's take.
Jermaine.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jermaine.
No, just for my, so if I was on step 18 last year, I'm probably on step 20 this year.
Correct.
Gotcha.
All right. All those in favor?
Yes?
Yes.
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 Yes. And now we're up to approving policies. Let's see here. Need a motion to approve these policies as written.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second?
Been properly moved and seconded that we approve these policies. Are there any discussion, questions?
These are in response to changes in state law.
That's correct, Mr. Smith.
Thank you.
No more questions? We'll take a vote.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And then we have a number of first read policies, and I encourage you to read down through those. Again, most of those are due to changes in state law.
That's correct.
Or wording, whatever. And the next one, we need a motion to approve the appointment of Jay Riley to the Marysville Public Library Board of Trustees for a 4-year term, January 26 to December 29. Need a motion to recommend to approve that appointment.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
Yes, Mr. President. Thank you to the library board and library director who's here tonight. We are invited to kind of observe the appointment interview process. There are several key qualified people who interviewed. I think 5 individuals interviewed. Many of them had great skills and assets. The questions are centered around, what they know about the library, what's their passion, what do they want to bring to the table in governance. While we are it's a school district library, we have no formal, we don't control the library's bylaws or anything. This is more of a formal process because it's a school district library. This is a recommendation. We don't participate in the interviews. We're there to observe and kind of learn about the process. And it's very great. I appreciate that courtesy, and it was great people who are interested in our library. And Jay Riley, obviously, many of us know him as our former fire chief from the city of Marysville Fire Department, and he's very excited to take on this responsibility.
Great. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Yes.
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 Yes. And now we're resolution in support of Red Ribbon Month. We need a recommendation to approve the resolution in support of Red Ribbon Month.
I'll motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? No discussion? Did you want to?
Read through it if you would like.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or highlight it?
Sure. Well, as you know, this month is Red Ribbon Month, and it centers around alcohol and drug abuse, affects individual families and communities across the nation, and whereas the substance abuse is particularly damaging to one of our most valuable resources, our children, and whereas it's imperative that visible, unified preventative education efforts by community members be implemented to encourage youth and adults to live healthy, substance-free lifestyles. And it goes on, but in a nutshell, it's important that we educate our kids about the dangers of alcohol and drug abuse. And I think it's great that the board's willing to consider passing this resolution.
Okay, let's take a vote.
Yes.
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 Yes. And now we're down to treasurer and CFO items. A motion to approve all treasurer's action items listed below.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion or explanation?
Yeah, it's really just our usual items. The cash flow looks a little funny this month because there's no variances based on, we just put the new 5-year forecast in there as our projections, which explains why there's no variances. Multiple appropriations increases just based on different funds, not touching the general fund. And also highlight there's a couple donations in there as well.
I wanted to call out specifically the donations because we are extremely grateful. Ted Howard has donated $20,000 to Marysville BMS Band and Choir Programs, and the Eagles FOE 3506 Auxiliary has donated $1,000 to Sensory Room. All of our fraternal orders are very generous with our schools. We'd like to thank them.
All right. All those in favor?
Yes.
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 Yes. And we're now to superintendent's items. A motion to approve all superintendent action items.
So moved.
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion or explanation?
Well, thank you, board. Before you is a list of HR items involving the individuals listed as attached in the roles that we're asking you to approve them for. There's a listing of volunteers. Always grateful for the number of people that are willing to partner with our school district and assist in this endeavor. We do have an early college, high school graduate listed, as well as one from the high school. So wish them the best and congratulations on getting to this point early on in their high school career. And then there is a listing of 3 individuals that are beginning their student teacher or field placements in the district. We love having these students come here to get that experience. There is a impracticality of transportation on here for the individual listed. And then, board, you'll see on here that there are 3 overnight trips. One is over spring break. Actually, all 3 are over spring break, but one is with our international studies student club. They are heading to Ireland, Scotland, and England, and that is in collaboration with Education First, which is a group that I believe this district has used since 2012. The show choir is asking to attend a competition in Boston, Massachusetts, and our softball team would like to go to, I believe it's Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. That would include JV and varsity players, and again, all of these would be over their spring break.
That's the only one not going overseas, or is Pigeon Forge over? Okay. Any other discussion?
I'd like to point out that there are some resignations for retirement. I know that, and I've been away from it, so I don't know exactly what the timelines are for teachers and so forth, but some of the very stalwart members of our staff are looking forward to retirement this coming year. I would hazard a guess to pronounce their names, but I've butchered enough names in my lifetime. But I do know that as I look at the list, and I would ask somebody else to go through and speak to their names, because I tend to butcher things pretty horribly. But they have spent just years and years and years of service to the students in this district. And they will be missed. They're all, I believe, going to, on the teaching staff, they're all going to finish the school year. We have one classified staff that is retiring on January, and she will be missed at the front desk. Her smile every time you walk in. So wish them all well.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Yes.
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 Yes. Okay. And now we're on to comments and questions from the board. Start down here.
Thank you all for tonight's meeting. It was parent-teacher conference week or weekend, and it's always a learning process, not just about like my individual students, but also kind of seeing some of the changes, or even if it's just a slight variation to assessments or how things are being taught throughout the grades. At least I'm in the elementary buildings, but it's always very nice to see how our students are growing and how education does slightly change over the course of time. Even though my experience is only 5 years, it can slowly change, and so it's kind of a cool observation as a board member and a parent to see. So thank you.
Ms. Savage.
Thank you for presentations tonight regarding the bond information. I think that's valuable for the community. I appreciate everything that all of our teachers and staff, our bus drivers, do to support our district.
Mr. Keller.
Enjoying the fall to next time we meet, it'll be winter or nearing that transition for our students and staff.
Mr. Smith.
Well, in our board reports, there were a couple of things that I thought were particularly important. At the Early College High School, the staff is implementing project-based learning lessons. And the staff is also going to undergo professional development with an emphasis on integrating ACT level rigor into reading assignments across the curriculum, the subject areas. And I think that speaks well to making real world situations for our students, and also attention toward increasing the rigor of the academics in our school district. At the high school, the thing that I'm very grateful for, the Monarch Market Food Pantry. I was reminded of that. I went to the high school for the 2005 class reunion, and there was a cart outside the door that is stocked with food, so students on their way to their cars, way to buses, on the way out of the building can just grab something. And the Monarch Market is fully stocked thanks to generous donations from the community. So our community is very supportive of that program to try to ensure that all of our students have sufficient food to be able to eat. So we're grateful for that.
Great. And I said enough tonight, I think. So need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second? It's been properly moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, we're adjourned. Thank you.